Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Beth, and I just finished reading From Here to Eternity by James Jones. This book was published in 1951 and is about 800 pages long. This was actually adopted into a very famous film in 1953, so only 2 years after this was published. James Jones served in the Army during 1939 to 1944, so obviously served during World War II, which pulls the inspiration of this novel. So I wouldn't call this novel a sprawling epic, nor would I say it's a Pearl Harbor novel. Yes, Pearl Harbor occurs, and this does take place in Hawaii. But at Pearl Harbor, very close to that base. But that happens at page 700 of the novel. Most of it is really, I wouldn't call it a satire on the Navy, but it's almost a really blunt expose of how soldiers actually were before the start of the war, before we actually came into the war. It talks about, the toll that politics takes on the non-coms, and it talks about how, officers are only always a separate entity from everybody else, and just kind of the different tools that these men use to stay sane while they're being owned by the government, essentially. And this includes the use of whorehouses and shacking up with other women there who might or might not be married. What really confused me about reading this novel was the fact that it is so raunchy. There's no smut, there's no specific scenes that are graphically depicted in this novel, even when people are killed. I'm not gonna say that this is for younger audiences. I think this is definitely more of an adult novel. It almost read, if you've ever seen the movie The Master, it felt almost along the lines of that movie in certain ways, because there's a lot of grooming for people to, become officers or become part of the Smokers, which was this fighting team for boxing. And there's a slew of characters that this surrounds. You have Pruitt, who was formal lead bugler at the Bugle Corps and got moved over because essentially his ego was really big and he threw a fit. So then he got moved over here. And at this new unit, they want him to be a fighter because he fought in the bowl, but he's against fighting because he made a man go blind. So he's just saying, no, I'm not gonna be a boxer. It's all about my honor and who I am as a man. They can't force me to do this. And that's... The funny thing is, I understand the sentiment, and it's this huge philosophical musing throughout the book of, what does your actual fate and freedom mean, especially in terms of this country and being a soldier and being a 30-year-old man and how it defines you. That's Pruitt's story. And then I'd say the other main character would be Warden, who strikes up an affair with his commanding officer's wife, Karen Holmes, and she's kind of described as a very cold woman. And I think this is part of the weak point of the novel, is the women aren't particularly written well. And I know it's a man writing the novel, and I know they're not even necessarily the emphasis of the book. But there's enough women characters there that just don't feel real. They feel very removed. And maybe he wrote them that way because that's the women that he knew, or how they reacted to him while he was in the Army and knew whores that worked in whorehouses. I'm not being derogatory. That is how they are. The women of the night of the novel are referred to. But it's, they just never felt real to me. It's I don't want to have relations with this man, but I do it anyway because I'm unclean. It never clicked and made sense, their motivations. The women just really didn't have the best motivations. The closest would be Pruitt's love interest. Not the first one. First one is also just, I don't understand her. She doesn't make sense to me. Violet. She's only in there for 100 pages or something, and then she's nixed. But then the latter love interest, which is Lorraine. Her actual name's Alma. She is a whore in one of the high and prim houses over near the base, and yeah, it's upsetting that just none of these women are written as actual characters. These men are fully fleshed out. I understand their motivations. There's one, like, Karen actually has segments from her viewpoint, and yet it's just not the best. I do think that the book in itself is really a not even a testament to it. It is a testament to its time, because there's a lot of things put in the book that it's just about acceptance of different people and different cultures, which you wouldn't expect. For instance, as you know, World War II was hard on the Jewish population. And even in the army, there was a lot of people saying, well, I hate the Jews, or they act a certain way in that. But it's funny because Prue is like, no, I'm not beating up this guy because he's a Jew. I'm beating him up because he's a terrible, he upsets me and he's not a good person. And he said, well, there's this other Jew over here and I love this guy and he doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's not the religion. It's not the culture. That does not matter to me. And it's funny because a lot of times in the novel, they're like, even it talks about Negroes or African Americans, and basically says that, oh, I know good African American characters. Yes, there are slurs in this book. Be prepared. I'm not about to use them. But saying, oh, he was very good to me. This man protected me in my time of need. I know that there are some bad people of the race, but that's how it is for every race. Which, obviously, in today's day and age, is like, yeah, duh. Don't be a racist. But, for a book that came out in the 1950s, I would just say that that's actually a testament, like, it's just a testament to the writer and his actual beliefs. And part of that might be because of the fact that he served in the military and he understood, people from all walks of life, and just knew that it's wrong to be racist. Especially when you think about the main character of this book, grew up dirt poor in Kentucky and decided to go off on the lam and be a bum after his mother and father died. So it's just, it's very much a book that I think a man should read. It definitely gears more towards a different demographic than myself. Not to say that I didn't enjoy it, I did, but I just felt that there were certain things that I could understand, and I've heard men relate to me before, like how they are feeling, and I think that it's actually really true to how even people in today's day and age like see themselves, and how they see their self-worth and confidence, and how that might be linked to their career or the people they love or things that they do. There's also some really beautiful passages on what it means to love a woman, and how love can, pull you this way and that, and is it love if it doesn't burn brightly and then turn into hate. Just so many of these really quite invigorating ideas portrayed in this novel, that it's very slow moving. If you're looking for like an action-packed plot, this is not the book for you. This is very much a deep dive character study kind of book. Not a lot actually happens. Like I said, Pearl Harbor, that happens at page 700, and there's one battle scene as it's occurring. Other parts, it actually tells you what it's like to live in the army. And a lot of that's just grueling work. Like, oh my goodness, we have to clean the toilets, we have to clean this, we have to, dig out ditches, we have to, start to set up a base on the beaches, or we're going out for maneuvers. Or, if you're getting punished, you're going to have to walk 10 miles with a huge rucksack of 70 pounds or more. Just these kind of things, and then having to submit to people that are even younger than you and might not have as life experience, but they're your superior officers. These are just kind of things in the novel that I would say really weigh upon the realness of what it's actually like to be the army, not what, the different posters were saying at the time to get people to enlist or re-enlist for that matter. So I hope you enjoy my review. I'm going to recommend this. If you haven't, I would say if you are of the male persuasion, I will recommend this more. I think you'll definitely relate to this more based off of what I've read and heard other people tell me. So I hope you might enjoy my review and have a good one.